Welcome back to the House of Kayfabe here on YouTube. I'm Adam Harris, joined by the most professional lawyer in all of wrestling, Stephen P. New, the only Derek Jones that matters, and the other Steve. We're here talking WrestleMania. It's time for night two. Boy, there's a lot of great build up to a lot of good storylines, and night two is going to be one that you just can't miss. We are talking WrestleMania. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Leave us a comment. What do you think? Who's going to win? Who's going to be the champ walking out of WrestleMania? Boy, oh boy. Stephen P. New, night two. Is it a one story night, or is there enough to keep us interested over the course of two nights here for WrestleMania this year?
I think it's going to be more than just a one story night. I really do. I can see some of the undercard matches saying, Savage, yeah, we know who's top of the card and we know what's supposed to happen. Let's go tear the house down.
He's absolutely right. Let's get right into it. Now, this is not last night's review or preview was what we think is going to be the order. This is all TBD, which means we only know what the main event is, of course, but the first one will just go the way they have it listed. The first one, and I think we all agree, and we very rarely not all agree here in the House of Kayfabe, that last year Gunther and Sheamus was maybe top three matches of the year at least. Steve New, you're old school like I am. You like a man versus man or a woman versus woman match. What do you think about them shoehorning? And let's be honest, I think it's a shoehorn. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. What do you think?
I think it's a way preserve status quo. I really do, without anybody coming out of this looking bad. You could bring, although it's a little tired at this point, you can bring a Sheamus McIntyre feud out of this. I don't see anything other than Gunther winning this match. The only thing that I will say, and before we started recording, we were talking about times. And we were like, wow, with only 6 matches a night, to get a 3.5 hour show, you got to have 30-minute matches. This is a match right here that could go 45, 50 minutes. All three of these guys can go. Now, I don't know about triple threat matches. I'm a busy guy. I haven't studied what's the average length of the, average triple threat match. But as for the abilities of the participants, all three of these guys, I think, could do that.
Derek Jones, I know you love Gunther as much as I do. I still call him Walter in my everyday life. I just can't. I mean, I'm going to probably call him Punishment Martinez later. So just get ready for a comment section. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But Derek, talk about, and you know what? I'm going to call you on something I want you to defend. You said that Cesaro could never get over in the WWE because of his accent and because he's obviously foreign. Now, explain to me how Gunther has done it.
As a babyface.
Okay. But that's fine. But we didn't need Cesaro to be a babyface.
No, Gunther's not a babyface for sure.
Right. But we wanted Cesaro to be that big top babyface. He wanted to be that big babyface. He tried to be a heel for about 5 minutes and it didn't work out very good for him. The Cesaro sections, the signs, everything, it couldn't stick because it didn't resonate with the crowd because the dude is entirely too smart for his own good. So he knows too many languages. So he gets stumbled. He can't talk right.
He can't talk. He don't talk good.
Claudio Castagnoli is the nicest guy,
sweetest human being in the world.
Met.
Certainly, that knows 7 languages. You would think a guy like that has every right to be a pompous asshole, but he was not at all.
Complete gentleman. We had him at our WrestleCade. We had him at our WrestleCade table this year, and he's just a fucking sweetheart. But enough of Cesaro. Hopefully, Claudio one day will come back to WWE and get used correctly. But man, Derek Jones, are you ready to see some of the stiffest shit you've ever seen in a fucking match?
I'm I'm torn on this match.
What?
I'm not a big fan of triple threats. Not a big fan of trios.
I knew
that. I like one-on-one and I like tag teams. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need Drew McIntyre in this match. I don't.
You're right.
Unless he is a scapegoat to protect Sheamus, because we know Walter's going over in a big way.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's why his name's Gunther, by the way, Barker.
That's
Dude,
how over
he's
he
killing
is.
it, man. I love it. I really think that when you see what Gunther has done, just in the transformation of his body, and for the record, I didn't need to get him down to vascular body type. I thought he was even more heelish when he was a little overweight. I'm a Dusty Rhodes fan, so I don't mind.
Tremendous. I agree.
But the fact that probably somebody in the office is like, look, you want to be a fucking star? We've already got KO, guy. We can't have two. And let's be honest, I love KO. I love him.
Can't grow a beard, Walter.
Yeah, I love him. But the fact that Gunther dropped, goddamn, Derek, you're a wrestler, like 75 pounds. Like, he's done a lot of work, man.
In a short period of time, all things considered. Living on the road, the way that you have to eat and take care of yourself. And that's, it's hard to do for anybody, period. Cutting weight's one of the hardest things you'll ever do when you do it correctly. And he did it the right way because he looks healthy. It's not a good look for the character, but for the man, the human being, more power to him, because the dude I hope once he gets to a healthier status, I hope he starts to bulk with that lean look.
Mm-hmm. Adam, what do you think about trios or three ways?
I think booking in this case, you can justify a three-way. It's WrestleMania. You got to get Drew on the card, which, by the way, again, back to that pandemic mania, Drew McIntyre had to win the world title in front of absolutely nobody after one of the best years of wrestling as a getting over, and again, he was almost in that Cody Rhodes kind of way, which if you haven't watched the video that Derek and the other Steve did talking about how babyface Cody Rhodes is right now, the Drew McIntyre run was about as close as we've seen to that in a long while. And the pandemic changed everything, and they've just struggled to keep Drew McIntyre relevant. And I think as far as getting him on the card, this is the perfect place for it. We know that each pairing of these guys could have multiple matches over the course of the next year. We'll get to them. There's going to be plenty of one-on-one matches. This one's going to be one. I hope they give plenty of time. I'm with you. I hope it's a 25-minute brutalization of one another, through these three guys. And with that many people in the matches, you get lots of more false finishes. And I'm sorry, they mean more when there's a third person in the match who's ready to break it up. It's not kicking out of everything. You've actually got a reason that so-and-so has been resting up this whole time, and he's finally ready to enter the action again. I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is the one that I'm going to sit down and watch with great interest. And I guess Walter's got to come out on top. Gunther, I think 2023 is going to be his year.
He's killing it.
And at this time next year, we could be talking about him in the main if they do things right.
God, I'd love that. So let's get these. Derek. Go ahead.
So hear me out. Like I just said that we had to get Gunther over. So I'm gonna fantasy book for a second because I love the idea of this, and it all comes back to the video that me and Barker just did about Cody Rhodes and the great American hero that he is. If Drew McIntyre's in the match to take the pin from Sheamus, to take the belt off of Gunther, to keep him strong, to push him into next year's WrestleMania against the All-American hero Cody Rhodes, man, how good would that be?
Dude, Cody Rhodes will have no qualms bringing up World War II on this fucking Austrian. This man, dude,
Cody really, Rhodes is good with it's already been written. History wrote that story for us. Why not just play it out on screen?
Man, they might do it for SummerSlam. It may not take that long.
Dude, go ahead.
Does Gunther challenge Cody, the champion, better as the Intercontinental champion or without having a belt?
Man, they haven't done that Intercontinental champion versus the world champions. It's like what? Ultimate Warrior and Hogan?
Seth Rollins. He carried both.
That's true. He did.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
right.
he had
Here.
the U.S. and the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not saying that it has to happen that way. Kind of in my mind, I always liked, the guy with the top belt challenging, the world champion or whatever. But it could easily happen the way that Derek just said there, and you put the intercontinental title on either of those two. They're interchangeable a lot in my mind. And then Gunther comes out, and the way that he's going to deal with the loss of the intercontinental title is to be world champion, and that nasty American has it, and Gunther wants to show the world who the best in the world is.
Who the superior wrestler is.
Who the superior wrestler.
He doesn't care about who your father was, man.
Not
he doesn't
at
care
all.
about Dusty Rhodes.
Dude, Cody Rhodes is ready to play with, Cody Rhodes is at any time looking for, man, this will be kind of stiff to say. This man is looking for a cross to be nailed against, buddy. He's ready to be martyred. Oh, he's ready to take on all of our American dreams
Absolutely.
and hopes against this Austrian brute. Oh,
Right.
my God. I can't wait for next year's WrestleMania.
He's
So,
Cody's Iron Sheik. I mean, come on.
And really, too, think about all the times when Walter Gunther could feed the lesser members of Imperium to Cody.
He already
You
has.
go out, beat Cody Rhodes, and
Definitely.
just like I said about the Dork Order, if I had been booking for Tony Khan, I'd have fed them one by one to CM Punk until you got to Colt Cabana.
So let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
Company.
Let's get this match out of the way. And Adam, if anybody's going to talk about it, I want you to do it. So we have a 4-way tag team match.
Oh boy.
With Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who I'm high on. We have Natalya and Shotzi Black. Well, it's just Shotzi now. We have Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Don't Buy Any More Figures, Kelsey Green. I see. I've been watching a little bit, fellas. And Sonya Deville in a fatal 4-way tag team match. I know Derek does not want to talk about this. So
we can run through this pretty quick. Yeah, we
ahead.
can get through this pretty quick. Yeah. First of all, wonderful to see Chelsea Green on the big card, on the stage, on the grandest stage of them all. An ASW talent who has appeared with us in West Virginia a couple times already. I hope.
And just a few months ago, if you think dreams can't come true, folks, just a few months ago, she was backstage with me and Adam Harris. And this weekend, she's going to be in WrestleMania.
That's right. Yep.
That's cool. I mean, that's cool.
Absolutely.
And she's the sweetest girl in the world. She also did Chili Night in Beckley in October.
In Beckley, West Virginia. Absolutely. One of my favorite memories, man. Absolutely. And you know what? She's like from Canada. She's from the part of Canada that's just like West Virginia. And I think she's just like us.
Oh, she's from Calgary?
She's from no, not exactly, but she's
from
a
rural part of
definitely.
Ontario,
Yeah.
I think.
She comes from the country.
I didn't know she
and
was
you
from
can
Canada.
tell it as soon as you meet her. So glad to see her on the grand stage. That's the biggest thing. Happy to see Chelsea Green. I think this is a get them all on the card match, which is like such a stereotype now that we're talking about it and like it's a term. And I mean, I think this is going to insert the dominance of Shayna and Ronda, I guess, because I don't feel like anybody's bought into either of these other tag teams. No one's bought in. So I guess part of what WrestleMania does is set the stage for the next year upcoming. And I think there's going to be more of Ronda and Shayna, as there should be, being pushed on top of the women's division, possibly, I guess, in a tag team way.
Okay, so now to try to get Derek to not look so bored about this match, let's go on to the second one. And Derek, if there's anything that needs to be said about this one, you go ahead. We have another 4-way tag team match with Braun Strowman and Ricochet, which is kind of an interesting.
I love this combo. I love that tag team.
It's interesting. The Street Profits, Montez Ford will probably be headlining WrestleMania in 2 years. Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis, who I'm hoping to actually become a male model, and the Viking Raiders, Herrick and Ivar, with that crazy chick with them. Derek, got anything for me?
It's way too much going on. Stop putting everybody on WrestleMania. They don't deserve it.
Is this, hey, Steve New, is this
Like-
the pay window match? This is the come to the pay window.
This is come to the pay window, as Dusty Rhodes used to say. And Derek couldn't be more right, as he usually is. He and I don't always agree, but he knows I love him. And this should be on Friday Night SmackDown.
Ouch. God
I'll go one better. I'll go one better. They should let this match be booked by Tony Khan, and it should be on Rampage.
It should be on Dark. Oh, man. Well,
This should
Yes,
be
Booker,
a SmackDown
TK.
match. You know, I would easily replace the Andre the Giant Battle Royal WrestleMania. I would swap those. I'd take the Battle Royal off of SmackDown, put this on it, put the Battle Royal as the opening of night one, for instance.
so I'm going to now wake Derek Jones up for real this time. And you got something else with that?
But look at that match and think about it. Like you've got a solid tag team out of the Viking Raiders that could be doing anything else. And you have two incredible talents in Montez Ford and Chad Gable that could have a great one-on-one match. And yet you're just like, here, let's put them all in there.
Oh, it's awful. I don't think anyone.
Sprinkle the salt down the elbow.
Yeah, a little Salt Bay. I don't think that any serious wrestling fan is down for this. I don't think there's one person out there in the wrestling YouTube commentary like, I can't fucking wait to see this mess.
We'll say fair, and they'll burn the house down.
Yeah,
watch. This will be the match.
They're going to work their ass off.
Come away on Monday night or Tuesday night when we're reviewing and say, well, you know what? That 8-man tag was really good.
Well, and every card can't be
say that.
Every card can't be, you know, Cabana and Punk or anything, you know, every match, you know. So you got to have your breaths and your ebbs and your flows, you know.
You know now that
there are worse ways to spend a few moments of pay-per-view time than this.
Now that Steve New has said that, I'm going to watch this match intently to see if they pull that off.
I hope they do.
So now let's really wake Derek Jones up, because I think that this might be to Steve New's point in yesterday's video, be the Macho Man Ricky Steamboat match. And the build of this was okay, and then it got really good when you got the women involved. We've got Edge coming out versus the Demon, Finn Balor, in a Hell in a Cell. Derek Jones is in heaven. Go ahead.
It's gonna be so good, so good. And it makes so much sense because you have Edge, you have the veteran, but and people don't want to think of Balor as a veteran, but he's been doing this for so long.
Yeah, he is.
He's one of the most believable characters, and you'll hear me talk about that a lot. I like my wrestlers to be believable. I like when they throw a punch and you're like, ooh, the chop, and it makes you wince a little bit. And Balor not only can deliver, but he can take and sell. And then you have all this interaction from the outside with Judgment Day and Beth and everything. So you drop the cell, you put them inside one of the most potentially entertaining forms of match in the history of the WWE. I wish it wasn't a big, bright red thing like my microphone.
Do you think it's going to still be that? They got to get rid of that. That looks terrible.
I wish they would. I wish it would just go back to stainless steel color.
I hate that.
You know, but these are two individuals that can tell a story before they ever step through the ropes, and two individuals that can go for as long as you need them to go. And I think this is your moment of power in professional wrestling, when people are like, holy shit, this stuff is good.
And you know, something else that I don't think they've not made part of the story, Edge is kind of on his retirement tour, right? Didn't he come out and say, this date I'm retiring? This could be one of the last times that we see an all-time great at WrestleMania. Steve New, are you an Edge head? Are you a huge Edge fan?
I have really liked Edge through the years. Rude, Christian, Rated R Superstar. When he challenged Mick Foley and got extreme for a little while there, I really liked that version of Edge. And then he, you know, he went out. I was in Houston a couple years ago when he made his return. And I thought his stuff with Orton was fantastic. So, yes, I have loved Edge for a long time. That being said, he can absolutely go right now. And he's in great shape. I think what he brings with the character and the whole thing, if you remember, he formed Judgment Day. And then they all turned on him. So I love the background on the, I was supposed to be the one in the leadership role of Judgment Day, and you guys turned your back on me. This has been a long running feud here, guys, and I love to see when long running feuds come to a head. And I'll tell you, went to New Orleans a few years ago to watch WrestleMania because I thought it was going to be the Undertaker's last match and the last chance I would ever have to see that entrance live. And I cannot wait to see Edge, his entrance. We're hearing rumors that Christian has been given authorization by Tony Khan to show up at WrestleMania and do a Brood reformation. So not only might have Beth by his side, he might also have the other members of the Brood to keep Judgment Day away. And the Demon entrance is one of my all-time favorite entrances in all of wrestling. I love the Demon entrance when Finn Balor does it.
So touching on that just a little bit more, and I haven't seen or heard anything about it to even, make any rumors about, but you're talking about Christian showing up in the Brood. Well, I follow Gangrel on social media a lot. He is in probably the best shape I've ever seen him be in a post yesterday. Like,
no shit,
like $1 million bucks.
Uh-oh.
Don't know.
He wrestled for Gary about a year ago, and David, he did a great job. I thought, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah. It's maybe been a couple years ago, I think, but yeah, no, definitely. And he takes good care of himself. He knows what's up.
He does.
I for some reason I'm just not as excited about this. I think this is going to be a couple of really long entrances for a match that I hope isn't too long. I remember Edge and Orton that one match just being too long. And I hate
that
to
was
hold that
brutal
against the last man standing or whatever it was between him and Orton.
Derek is so hurt.
I hope I'm not going to, I like the Judgment Day in general. I like what they're doing with Dominic. I think what we talked about earlier on our previous video, which make sure you go back and watch, what happens with Rhea and Charlotte, determines what happens with this match in my mind, and also with Dominic and Ray. And there's a lot to be told here, I will say last night during the Go Home show, when I saw that the Judgment Day was coming up, I actually just turned on some old Mid-Atlantic because I wanted to see Sergeant Slaughter reacting to Don Kernodle ripping up his coat. His coat. Where did you get this coat? And Ricky Steamboat had fooled them both. So maybe I'm turning heel in this situation, but I haven't been. I think this is going to be big entrances for an okay match, not taking away from either guy's legacy. But I'm just not bought into this one personally.
Derek Jones, tell Adam Harris why he's wrong.
Adam Harris has buried professional wrestling 3 times over the course of these recaps. He destroyed Ring of Honor in one comment. He said we got to find a place for Drew McIntyre on the card, and that's not a fact at all because he doesn't belong on the card. And now you're saying Edge and Finn Balor are going to have a bad match?
I think it's going to be the one. I think it's going to be
take your subway.
I didn't say it was going to be bad. I think the entrances are going to be far superior to the actual in-ring content. But we'll see. I'm ready to be proved
You've
wrong.
broken Derek Jones' heart all night, Adam.
That's amazing. Real quick, and this
such good figure reviews, and then now this.
Well, funny you should say that because I have a question for Adam and Derek specifically because, of course, you two, along with Matt Mullins, are kayfabe collectible guys. You're our fig guys. Who's more toyatic? The Fiend, the fucking
Demon?
the Demon, or Rey Mysterio?
Oh, jeez.
Who's
The
more
Demon.
toyetic?
The Demon is way more toyetic than Rey Mysterio.
Okay, Adam.
No, because as we just heard on a previous video that I think you guys are going to see on the day of the induction, Rey Mysterio has approximately 972 figures, and they're all different. So that's pretty damn toyetic. If you do the Demon, you can only do it so many ways. Now, I will say that the most recent, I think it's a WrestleMania edition, or there's a new Elite out in the newest Elites, and the Finn Balor is badass. It's an amazing figure. And that's one thing I will give the Demon over Finn Balor is that's such a toyetic character that any figure like that is going to be worth its weight.
Rey has had the toy machine behind him for a long time. Finn has not. If you go back and look at Prince Devitt and all his incarnations of the paint, he's way more toyetic than Rey.
Now let's get into.
And for all you wrestling fans who don't know what the fuck Prince Devitt is.
That's a thing that happened in another country that was really big for a little while. Now that actually, of course, brings us into Rey Mysterio. And I don't know if y'all know this, but the last time that WrestleMania was in LA, Rey Mysterio, of course, wrestled with Dominic's dad, Eddie Guerrero. And now we have Rey Mysterio wrestling Dominic Mysterio. We have a very rare son versus father, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader style situation. Steve New, what do you think about this Rey Dominic stuff? What do you think about Condom being someone that could possibly be called by Condom when he gets arrested the next time?
As a man who represents actual prisoners.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. They're all about to get paid. All about to get paid. But anyway, look at where Dominic started, and we were all so down on Dominic during the pandemic. That was really awful stuff. It showed that Dom should have never been in those matches. He should have been in development somewhere back in the old territory days. He would have been in freaking Amarillo, Texas, jobbing for the Funks. All right. And that's where he would have started. But I think the boy has come a long way in 3 years, physically, on the mic, with this Judgment Day. Judgment Day is the best thing ever happened to Dominic Mysterio. And I think this is a chance for Rey to put him over and to let him go from this, as Adam has pointed out several times. What we see happen with Rhea, I think, will, no pun intended, through night 2 here. And, if you see Rhea beat Charlotte Flair, you can almost guarantee that Dominic's going to go over Rey. But I think that's what Rey wants too. I think Rey wants his son. That is a resume builder as well. It's a chance, for Dominic, particularly if Rey retires after this. I don't know if Rey's going to retire or not, but he's going into the Hall of Fame. I'm torn on how I would fantasy book this. Would I fantasy book it for Rey to go out on a victory over Dom at WrestleMania and retire the same weekend that he goes into the Hall of Fame? It's going to make for a weird induction ceremony on Friday. But anyway, Dominic has improved greatly in 3 years. And it's going to be fun to watch.
Much better as a heel, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and if you can't put over your best friend's son, who can you put over? You know what I'm saying? Just get the fucking dude. I don't give a shit what they say. How many times do you see a son that much taller than his dad? He's fucking a foot taller than his dad. That is not his kid. I'm not doing the meme. I'm fucking serious.
Well, and I regret that we didn't even talk about this in our figure episode where we talk through the figures of the Hall of Fame inductees here on the House of Kayfabe. Me and Derek Jones did a nice video, and I don't even think we talked about this, and it's going to be out tomorrow. But there's that great 2-pack of Ray and Eddie, but the whole reason for that feud was Dominic Mysterio, and this year we're getting Dominic versus his dad. You know, I mean,
it's the
long-term storytelling.
The exact mullet. The exact mullet.
The exact mullet. Does WWE keep hairstylists around for 2.5 decades? Because the same woman cutting Eddie's hair, cutting Dominic's hair.
Derek, do you love Condom?
I kind of do. I kind of do. Like, I don't. So, you know, and Steve said it best, you know, when he first came out, like, nobody liked him. Nobody wanted to see anything about him. But, you know, did Ray plant the seeds of, hey, I want to let it slow build, you know, because eventually I want to give my son this moment at WrestleMania. I want him to turn. I don't know which way we're going to go with him, but I want to have that moment of transition and let him take on, you know, my legacy, but I want it to happen this way, you know. And had he went to development, we wouldn't think of Dom the same way we do now. What he is now in front of us, we wouldn't see that. We would have had to start all over again with him, and it just wouldn't have made as much sense.
Because we did see all the bumps in the road until we got to where he is now.
We developed
right, and that's what I was saying, Derek. That's what we were saying at the time. This boy needs to be in developmental. He doesn't need to be on Raw. He doesn't need to be on pay-per-views. That's what we were saying at the time, and you're so correct about we wouldn't be enjoying what we're enjoying right now if our fantasy booking had been approved in 2020.
Right, because we wouldn't have developed all that sympathy for him when he was still just trying to work out the matches, you know, as a new individual in the ring. We wouldn't have cared about him at all, but we saw the brutal beatings that he took at the hands of some of these guys, and then we developed a connection, and then boom, heel. That's the best way to do it. As soon as you've connected with a crowd, to turn on them his father is a legend going into the Hall of Fame, and that's who you're going to go against. Man, that's
dude. When he said he was thrown out of the family chat, I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever fucking heard. Because we all have that. Yeah. We all have that.
We have our own group chats. We have our family chats. And then he was like, our chat's much better when he looked at Damian Priest. You know, like, it's much cooler. I will say this, you know, like, obviously, and Derek and I touched on this a little bit in that same figure episode, but like, Rey Mysterio, a man whose career, we take it for granted because he's on TV every week. But when you look at the long term of Rey Mysterio's career, it is unmatched. Worldwide.
What was his? Was he?
We found a figure of his that came out in 1993.
What?
And his debut, I think Derek has it there somewhere.
Ray debuted. He's been in ring longer than I've been alive. He debuted in April of 1989.
89. Can you believe that?
Shit.
He debuted and
same as Dustin Runnels.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, and then he came to WCW and debuted on a pay-per-view, Great American Bash, in 96. So his first WCW in-ring match, Dean Malenko, pay-per-view.
Tremendous. And I will say a lot of people probably underestimated Ray in the beginning of his career. And I think, you know, if Dominic plays his cards right and is very smart about it, we may be talking about another GOAT. You know, we could be inducting Dominic Mysterio in the Hall of Fame, you guys. You remember how The Rock went through a few bumps? Woo. You remember how we all hated that guy? You remember how he did not get over with us and he used it to get over? I mean, here we go, man. I mean, 25 years from now, 30 years from now, we might still be talking about Dominic Mysterio.
Adam, what happens year and a half when Dominic's the guy that needs to be leading the Judgment Day, and Finn Balor and Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley don't like the fact that Dominic, the one that the fans are behind in the Judgment Day, just like the nation, you know.
There you go.
And all of a sudden, Dominic's in the stratosphere.
There you go.
I miss the nation. So before we get into the okay, so we've had some good salads. We've had a few good, starter courses,
couple sliders.
But are you all ready for the fillet? We've got just two. I mean, you could almost call this a co-main event and a main event. Now, before we get into the co-main event and the main event, I know it's not called that. We'll make sure you stick around to the end of this video because Stephen P. New is going to be dropping some big announcements for our sister promotion, All Star Wrestling. That, of course, he is the CEO, the commissioner of ASW. So please stick around for that at the end of this video. But now, this is something that I think that they have a problem with both of these matches. And I don't know if Derek agrees with me. With this next match, it's the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Is it just a foregone conclusion? And if it is, how do you make this match good when we all know that Kevin Owens and Stephen P. New, do you think that just like this is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they're just going to win?
I don't. I think that you are going to see some of this Jay and Sammy drama. I think that you have the chance of seeing like some of that, like you were my brother. You were the chosen one, Anakin. You're going to see some of that play out during the match. And there are going to be spots where you specifically recall things from the Sami Zayn being an honorary Us. And I think that's what's going to make this match so beautiful. Not that it's a foregone conclusion that Zayn and Owens are going over, because I don't know that I agree with that. But I think that the length of I think Sammy and Kevin's history is going to come into play in the match. I think Sammy's time as an Uso is going to come into play in the match. And so if the coach, the agent for this match, and I'm hoping that it's Paul Heyman, sketches this out, it's going to be a thing of beauty.
Derek, they're just going to win, right?
I don't think they're going to win. I don't. I truly don't. And here's why. Because Cody's going to win, and I think if the Usos, if Zayn and Owens win, then you're automatically going to assume Cody's going to win as well. I think the Usos go over with the help of Solo. That way, the feud will continue on to another pay-per-view where they may win the belts, and I'm fine with that. I agree with everything Steve just said. I think the distraction from Solo is going to come from a distraction between Jay and Sammy. I think it's going to be a little awkward at some point in the match that causes the distraction for Kevin Owens to take the fall from Jimmy. I think that in their mind, they're going to be like, all right, it's a night for the bloodline. And then I also believe that once the main event happens, it could be destruction for the bloodline because we won and you didn't.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Second and third, everything that was just said, and I think also if the Usos have the tag belts and Roman doesn't have the belts, then there's all the reason for them to say we held up our part of the deal.
Chief?
Yeah,
you ain't a tribal chief,
and so you have a bloodline that can continue without Roman, just like Cody predicted. Man, you might be the Roman without a reign, and that's where he might end up. We could see. Maybe it's all written out for us and they're going to do a total swerve. If Vince McMahon should step in, then fucking Roman Reigns retains.
That's for sure. Well, that's definitely for sure.
So, and there's the other part of it, I really hope that something happens that, me and Barker talked about in our video. I want Cody to win a belt at WrestleMania.
Wait till y'all hear this one.
He doesn't exactly have to win both belts at WrestleMania.
Steve New's going to like this.
I need him to win a belt at WrestleMania because I need Paul Heyman to channel his inner Steve New.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait for that because I want that to be a whole thing when we go into the main event. I don't want to do this one on until to get into it. Man, I think it's a foregone
the tag match.
Yeah, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I think it's a foregone conclusion. They're becoming addicted to that pop, son. They like since the Sami Zayn turns on Roman with the chair pop, and then the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn hug, pop. I think they're too addicted to it. They gotta have it. They gotta.
But don't you milk that a little better, like Derek said, with the chase?
That's true.
But
it ain't WrestleMania.
Maybe you let them chase the Usos to SummerSlam, and boy, that's a nice payoff.
Yeah. Or even just payback or whatever. Even
your way is better.
Right.
Your all's way is better for sure. So now let's get into it. IT,
period.
Yes. 2 years ago, this guy was Jabba to Joey Janela. And he probably did. Not just saying that. But now we have Roman Reigns, who is an all-time great. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to end up on the WWE Mount Rushmore modern wrestling for sure. Run in by Steve News Cat.
Yeah, right.
And then of course Roman Reigns versus I knew that'd pop at him.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my goodness. We were at WrestleCade. Adam went to a cat cafe. So we
Matt
have
came
Roman.
With me.
None of my business.
We have Roman. God damn it. We have Roman Reigns versus the American Nightmare. We're going to finish the story. Derek Jones. I say the same thing for this one. It's a fucking foregone conclusion that Cody Rhodes is going to win, but you have a very interesting plot twist on Cody Rhodes obviously winning. Go ahead, Derek.
Cody's got to win. We talked about it during the video. He's got to win to come out as this ultimate good guy babyface. He can't afford to take a loss. And the Cody fan in me and the wrestling fan in me, I need Cody Rhodes to win the match at WrestleMania. However, the modern day wrestling fan in me, the guy that appreciates everything in the now, not to say everything back then wasn't good and great. No offense, Steve New. But the now of professional wrestling.
It was.
The now of professional wrestling. I need Roman Reigns to beat Bruno's record.
But he's not going to, because that's 8 years.
I don't care. I need
It's not 8 years total. I mean, it's 8 years total. It's not 8 years at one time, right?
No,
I thought it was
like
8 years
at one time.
Yeah, from like 63
like 2,000 some days or something.
Yeah, like he was like from of course, if the great Brian Last or Jim Cornette was here, they'd give us the exact date. But it's like
I thought it was
63 to 72 or something, and he dropped it to
Ivan Koloff.
Yeah. Well, that would have been the second time. No, Ivan Koloff got dropped to by fucking redheaded crazy dude.
Bob Backlund?
Bob Backlund was the one. Maybe you're right.
No,
let's not get into this. Let's not get into our history.
But Roman
superstar Billy Graham's in there somewhere.
Yeah. So Derek Jones, how does this happen that Cody Rhodes wins, but yet you get your 8-year wrestling reign?
And even if he doesn't hit Bruno's record, I need a modern day champion to surpass Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, the smaller Bruno record, because he's on there twice in the top 5. I need a modern day chase of someone we can see, that we watch, that we can talk about. And I need it to happen because Paul Heyman is one of the best things in professional wrestling today. And when he channels his inner Steve New and manipulates that contract before Cody ever walks out to the ring and makes it for one championship belt and not both, because to me, if they were going to do both, they should have unified the belts a long time ago and just gave Roman one big, beautiful belt, but they didn't. They kept them separate. And I feel like this is a good reasoning for the 2 title belts, because otherwise it's just overkill.
Otherwise it means nothing.
Right.
Right. The question, which of the 2,
he needs
Universal or WWE, is on the longer trajectory? Like he's been 900 and some days as champion, right? But it's not been with both, has it?
It's the WWE. I'm pretty sure it's the WWE title.
All right, let me look that up. Talk amongst yourselves.
So there is a 2-hour YouTube history of this Bloodline storyline. If you haven't gone back and watched it's really good. I mean, it's 45 minutes long or so, but it covers every storyline, and it goes back further than you probably remember. And it's definitely worth your time to go back and watch.
I think this is going to be fucking great. Cody Rhodes. Well, Yeah, let's start with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is doing something that we have not seen since 1980 fucking 7 with a true, not morally ambiguous. Here's what I think. DC and Marvel could learn everything they need to know about how to make their baby faces better by making them like fucking Cody Rhodes. You know what Cody Rhodes is right now? He's fucking Captain America. He's fucking Superman. He is for truth, justice, and I know that they got rid of it in DC, the American way.
Hey, I mean,
Cody Rhodes
he rebuilt his pec. As far as I'm concerned, he's Iron Man.
Dude, Cody Rhodes is doing something in a way that we have not seen since his dad, really. Someone who is, I do what is right. This isn't, I'm edgy, stone cold, or, like, as Derek said in our last video, edgy John Cena. I'm still from the streets, but I'm still kissing babies. Cody Rhodes is an earnest, morally upright. I've been thinking about this for like 2 weeks, you all. We need this in our storytelling in all movies, all television. We've done the postmodern, morally ambiguous good guy far too long. And that being said, I watch The Peacemaker every time that it's on, and I can't wait for it to be back. But Peacemaker is exactly what I'm talking about. He's the baby face, but he's also a mass murderer. Dexter. I'm talking about Dexter. Dexter's the baby face. And yes, he kills, criminals, but he chops them up in small pieces, but he's the fucking baby face. Cody Rhodes is doing something that I never thought we could do anymore in our day and age of storytelling, of just like, this man is right, and he's going to do what is right. And not only is he going to do what's right, he's going to be rewarded for it. You know what I mean? Like, you think of like the character in the movies, like, I did everything right, but everything bad happens to me. Everything is fucking coming up roses with Cody Rhodes. Adam Harris, what do you think about that ridiculous rant? I've been waiting to do that for 2 weeks.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right, and I don't know why it's working. I have no idea why it's working.
Makes no sense.
I wish Cody was getting the bus and the trip across the country to go shake and howdy with everybody like the Lex Express.
Oh, let's not do that again.
Because I feel like he's got the best shot of anybody as being the baby face, the over baby face, man. And I love everything you're saying about keeping the titles separate because of everything Derek's saying. I agree. We need a modern day warrior that we can look at to say that's the greatest of all time. He surpassed Bruno. He surpassed Ric Flair. Just
Hulk Hogan. If you just surpass Hogan, which is probably about 2.5, 3 years,
it's got to be close. No, it's got to be close. Yeah, we have to be close to that one at least. But I'm just looking forward to this match. I can't wait to see what they do. I mean, why would I try to predict it? I mean, I've given up. I just love what they've done with this. What could I possibly add other than I can't wait to watch this match?
This is going to be heaven. Roman Reigns has mastered the art of the WWE main event match.
The minutia is there with Roman. It's everything. It's the modern storytelling is there, but yet somehow we're still able to tie this to the Wild Samoans, to Alpha and Sika, and to Rikishi. Leonardo DiCaprio,
and Rikishi,
and to Rikishi, and then to friggin' Dusty Rhodes.
God,
my dream of all dreams is that Dustin Rhodes might be able to make an appearance.
Adam, it's going to be one of the best matches. Well, here's the thing, though, is it's such a and this is what I was thinking a little bit with Logan Paul. Is it our expectations so high? But Cody Rhodes is the greatest ever of all time, maybe, and I don't think we have to worry about that.
He is, but also, have we seen a great match out of him yet? I mean, remember the Seth Rollins match, when he was injured, we were all behind that, but
we saw the last WrestleMania had the best match with Seth Rollins.
Well, definitely for sure. But I mean, since then, we haven't seen a lot of them, I mean, we have to make sure Cody can still deliver as 100%, as healthy, as delivered, as promised. What do you think, Derek?
I think he can do it. He had the match with Seth at Mania. He had a match with Seth at Hell in a Cell, even though, I just got done saying that Seth is potentially the greatest in-ring worker today.
Yeah.
So he's going to make anybody he's in-ring with look just like $1 million. He had a great showdown with he worked Gunther once, and had a good match with him.
That's right. That's right.
He-
And he's
he-
been working on Raw. He's been working against
Yeah.
Solo.
He got abused by Gunther, but I can't believe they let him go one-on-one with him just after coming back from the injury of his pec and take all those chops like he did. But he
What a
looked
Vince
he looked
McMahon
great.
thing to do.
The match with Solo on Raw looked great. I don't know. I can't not see Cody having a good match.
One prediction could be, like, what are we seeing after this? Is it going to be Cody and Solo? Is that the first big challenger? A lot of people are talking about Solo getting a big push.
He's not ready.
Who is
not
it then?
Ready.
Gunther? It's gonna be Gunther?
Man, that would be that's too on the nose almost.
I seen a rumor about this today, so it's not even just me seeing it, but I think it would be a great story to tell. But I see a returning Randy Orton.
Yeah, he's right. I've seen that rumor too.
Yeah,
that Randy
wow.
Orton
They've got
might be
a lot
ready
of
to come back.
history.
And Randy Orton just had some real massive back surgeries, and you got to figure when he comes back, it's going to have an end date on
if he
it.
comes, that's
right.
Right. That's right. And he's going to work smart for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that would be an amazing feud. The history between him and Cody. Oh my God. Between, what were they called?
The Legacy.
The Legacy. Yes.
Cody,
yeah.
Randy,
Oh
and
my
Ted
God.
DiBiase Jr.
Tremendous.
Ted DiBiase Jr.
Tremendous.
Well, Adam, wrap us up, and then we're going to wait. Steve New's going to come back and give us that announcement. So wrap us up.
Cool.
And we'll wait
All
for
right.
Steve to come
Stay
back.
tuned, you guys, man. And I just want to say that I could see a program with Jey Uso. I mean, it continues the storyline. It continues the bloodline thing. Like, it depends. But, I could see main event Jey Uso. I mean, this all hasn't been for nothing for Jey Uso.
The bloodline started because of Roman and a defiant Jey Uso having a great banger of a match in the cell.
Yeah.
I'm going to go so markish right now, Derek Jones. You know what? I think you're right. Because in WWE 2K, Jimmy Uso's rating is an 89 and Jay's is a 90. I think that you are absolutely correct. So wrap us up, Adam, and we're going to bring Steve
All right,
New
man.
in
This
here.
has been our WrestleMania preview. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this year, and I know you guys can't either. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you the next time, and stay tuned for a big announcement from the one and only Stephen P. New. For the House of Kayfabe, this is Adam Harris for Derek Jones and the other Steve. See you next time.